Welcome everyone, this is Jeremy aka Mr. EW, here to give you an update vid on the Darksoft MVS neo-geo multi-cart. We have made some upgrades or updates to the firmware and the menu based on some feedback that we received after our last video. So first thing I'm going to do is going to boot up. One of the things that we decided to add was the ability to boot to whatever slot you want when you cold boot the carts. So when the screen comes up that shows the 3 games that's loaded on the cart, you would hit A to boot to slot 1, B to boot to slot 2, C to boot to slot 3. Notice now that this is loading over 1300 megs worth of game in less than 35 seconds at boot. See our first video to actually see game load time comparisons versus NeoSD. Hit C right now, and it'll boot to Garo, which was the 3rd game on the list.
They existed. Those blinded by ambition. Those consumed with vengeance. But here, they do not exist. Only winners and losers here. The mighty.
Alright, whenever you're in a game, you just, in order to change slots, you hold up on the controller and start. And it's going to boot to slot 1, which was Metal Slug 4. And again, you want to go to the next slot, up and start. And it's going to boot to slot 2 now. Alright. So I'm going to cold boot it again. And I'm going to boot it into slot B, just to show you again. This should boot right to go slot. There we go. Alright, now in order to get back to the menu whenever you're already in a game, you just hold down the A button, the D button, and start for 3 seconds. And it's going to bring the menu back up. The other thing we changed in the screen here is you hit start to go to the options instead of A now, since we changed the boot to slot. Alright. You'll notice here we have disabled the update menu option from in here. In order to update the menu, you just have to put the new menu files on the SD card in the update folder, and it'll automatically update menu from now on. We found out that it's more reliable to update it that way. You won't get any errors and all that we were coming across. So that's been disabled. One thing I can show you here, cart diagnostics has been added. I'll tell you the status of the FPGA, the backup RAM access, the backup RAM itself, the file system, this file system size. It's going to test the read and write speed of the file system. and give you a menu ROM checksum. That takes a few seconds to do. And there you go. See that? Alright, exit out. All the other stuff's still the same. You can configure games by coming in here and changing the soft dips. Alright. System configuration, you can change some of the things here. Alright. Menu configuration. Alright. Excuse me. Okay, so in menu configuration, we've changed some things also. One of the most requested things was to make the cart where it could boot to a single game, just like a regular cart would. So this is where you do that. It's in boot mode, it says menu, it's going to boot up to that first menu screen where you can select the slots. If you change this to games, whenever you change it to that, it'll automatically boot to slot 1 whenever you turn on your system. It's going to load all the games that are in the slots and then automatically boot to slot 1. Now, in order to boot as quickly as possible, you should go to your SD card and delete the files on the SD card called slot 2 and slot 3. Whenever you load a game, it creates a slot file on the SD card telling the cart what games you have loaded up. So if you were to delete slot 2 and 3, then it would think there's only one game loaded up in slot 1 and it would only load that game. So you would then boot much faster if you only wanted to use this cart as a one-game cart. So let me demonstrate this one in games mode. So I'm going to switch to games, hit exit, and I'm going to exit out here and it's going to change the settings. And it's going to boot into the game. So let me show you from a cold boot. Remember, this one's loading up 2 pretty big games and a small game right now. In a minute I'll take my SD card and delete slot 2 and 3 files so you can see what it's like loading up Metal Slug 4 by itself. But this is just to show that it will indeed auto boot to slot 1. There you go. Metal Slug 4. Alright, give me 1 second. I'm going to delete the slot 2 and 3 file off the card and let you see what it looks like. Alright, I'm back. What I've actually decided to do is kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I decided I'm going to show you how it boots when there's a small game loaded in slot 1 only, and then I'm going to show you a bigger game. I guess I'll do King of Fighters 2003. I'll load that up next and show you how long the cart takes to load when you first load that game up. But what I've gone and done is I've erased the slot 2 and 3 files. By the way, we hope in a later revision where you just delete those slot files from the menu, but for the time being right now you would have to manually do it. It's not a big deal. Alright, so I'm going to boot it up. It's only going to load the game from slot 1, which is Art of Fighting, and then boot into slot 1. As you see, it was very quick. It only took about 2 seconds to actually load the game. Then the cart reset itself. Then it booted into the game. Okay, so now I'm going to load up King of Fighters 2003. When you have this in boot to game mode, in order to get back to the menu, you simply hold the start button while the cart boots up. Or you can recall the menu from inside the game and then just hold start once it starts initializing again, and it'll take you back to the menu. Alright, so I'm going to go here and I'm going to change to King of Fighters 2003. Slot 1, and I'll just exit to load the game just as before. And while it's on this black screen, it's loading. And it's going to automatically boot into the game now, since we have it set to auto boot to game. Alright, now cutting it off, we're going to cold boot. It's only going to load this one game, since it's only got one game in the slot 1 file. So let's see how long it takes for the largest game to boot by itself. See, only took a few seconds, and that's the largest game. So even the largest game in the library only took a few seconds to boot when we had it in boot to game with only one game loaded on the cart. So as you can see, we've made a lot of improvements based on feedback. I think it'll make a lot of people happy. This is just about to go on sale now. We've been working on compatibility with a lot of different motherboards. We're continuing to work on that. But right now we're at a point where we can go ahead and start taking pre-orders, and everything we need to fix, we can go ahead and fix in firmware while production is happening. So expect to see details on where to order this cart from very soon. Pay attention to arcadeprojects.com. That's where you get all your official information from. Don't rely on any other forums. Get it directly from us at arcadeprojects.com. And we will see you next time.
Sit, Kishi, sit. Good dog.